Hey friends, it's Jeff. Had a little bit of trouble with one of the microphones, which you'll hear up front, but once you get into it, it kind of goes away. But we loved this conversation, and so we're posting it despite a small audio difficulty. Hope you enjoy. Happy New Week. Be well. Hey, this is the Morning Show. Jeff Cook. I'm with Kristin Messegee, Jackie Contessa. Welcome. Morning is right. Okay, we're talking. All right, so topic that I love. This actually may be one of my favorite topics in Enneagram, and I haven't gotten a chance to talk about it for years, literally, in this context, but I'm doing it with you two. We're talking about the centers, but not just our dominant center and not just our repressed center, but our relationship to each of the three centers, because we are made up of head, heart, and body. But I never hear people really push into that hard and say something to the effect of, hey, Enneagram 6, what is your relationship to your body? Hey, Enneagram 6, what's your relationship to your heart? What's your relationship to your head? And really parse that for a minute. And so that's what I want to do with the three of us. Each of us represent, helpfully enough, each of us represent one of the centers. And that's going to be, I think, really valuable as we come to thinking about our relationship with the centers. So are you ready to go?
Ready.
Our introductory banner today is going to be kind of weak because we already spent the entire weekend together talking shop. And so no need to catch up. Isn't that how that goes?
What you mean to say is our introductory banter already happened and then we hit record. That's what you say.
That's actually true. But we couldn't say any of those things online because they were spicy.
I kind of want to set the table a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a little framework here I like.
Please.
The body center, instinctive or gut center, could be other words we use for it. So This is the seat of presence, boundaries, and instinctual knowing. Do we all buy this?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I could plus it, but I think that all
Feel
works
free.
For sure.
We like that though. Presence, boundaries, instinctual knowing. What would you add?
I would want to spin it just because I'm in that Dr. Siegel book up till my eyeballs. And so I'd want to spin it scientifically and say that your nervous system takes in the world through elements of your physicality and biology that direct your attention to the present moment. Everybody has this, but only some of the types have it in spades, you know? Some of the types
like an
really
awareness of it.
Yeah, the primary awareness for 8s, 9s, and 1s will be the boundaries, presence, what is happening now. And that comes through your nervous system because part of your nervous system is wired to experience the surrounding environments.
I'm actually really glad you said that because the whole 6s taking the world through thinking. That's such, It's such a fragmented, not correct teaching. So thank you for adding that because I totally agree.
I'm going to do it with the other two as well. I'm so
Great.
into the biology of this right now because it's saving me from what can be the woo-woo elements of pitching Enneagram.
Oh, okay. I love that.
So,
okay.
Not that woo-woo is so terrible sometimes, but go ahead.
So you said to the girl who literally had a box of tarot cards at the event in my backpack. If some of us consider
Is it helpful? Is it useful?
This is how the 6 prepares for life.
Does it make you a better person? I'm all for it.
I don't know. I went to the Garden of the Gods afterwards and did a bunch of tarot readings in nature, and it really set my soul right and made me very happy.
You get all affirmation from me on that.
Good, great. Okay, so anyway, I agree with you. So we take in the world through our bodies, our nervous systems, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But in this teaching, the body center is presence, boundaries, instinctual knowing. I would also add what to do. Would we agree with that? Like, no, because this is also the center of action.
Is that not instinctual knowing?
Yeah.
Or is that not sort of included?
I just want to pull it out. I think that's it. But like knowing what to do.
I recognize that we're still doing a lot of work on this. The processing center comes into play here. It's certainly the case for 8s and 1s. 9s, I think, get complicated here.
Well, I have that though. I have that here.
9s can know what to do though. 9s they can
do
numb. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But so this out of balance, okay. Because even 8s, 9s, and 1s, right, can be they're out of balance in the center, potentially. So the core issue being a feeling of being intruded upon or overlooked, like a disruption in a sense of
Yes.
autonomy.
Yep.
So there's either this overacting or underacting can occur. But that's sort of the issue of that center.
What were the words that you used? Sorry, Kristin?
Intruded upon, like a sense of like being intruded upon or overlooked.
But all in relation to autonomy, is that right? Because I feel like, yes, okay, thank you.
Worth parsing out autonomy and agency and how they might play on these fronts. But the intruded upon is severe. This is where the anger emerges. So if your dominant center, if the dominant part of your nervous system is taking in the world through a present focus that is spatially oriented, what naturally happens is you have a heightened awareness of issues of control. And when your will is thwarted, it produces an emotion, and that emotion is anger. And that is absolutely common across human beings. But for those who have that elevated intuitive center, it's the dominant underlying feeling.
Right. But also, if you're out of balance in that center, like this head type is, you can still have all of those issues because you aren't balanced in that center. So there's a lot of like, I'm disconnected from my will.
Yeah.
So then I don't act or overact, right? It's not this like clear boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Exactly right. Well, and we're going to get into that. It's good stuff there.
Yeah. Okay. So that's just kind of like the deal with the body center. Do we like this? Should we do this with both of them?
This.
Okay.
You're setting this up well. Do you got final
yeah,
word
Jackie,
on
you want
body
to add
types, Jackie?
No,
the center itself.
I think to like maybe setting language around like the idea of autonomy, and maybe I'd love to hear your thoughts, but like the idea of autonomy for me, just because it does apply to all three of these types in one way or another, is the idea that I want to name my A and my Z, and I want to get there in the way that I want to get there without anybody, to use your word, sort of disrupting or intruding. If there are other words that I would put in here, maybe control and justice, just to float those two around relating. But other than that, all this works.
I like it.
I would love to elevate justice. Control goes alongside agency and autonomy in my heart and experience. But justice, notice what justice is about. Justice is about everything out there being set right. Mm-hmm. And when the world is out there is set right, then I will feel much more comfortable in the world. 8s, 9s, 1s all experience this.
And I really want to, TJ obviously can't be here, but he was with us this weekend. And he said at one of our lunches that 9s they don't want peace and calm. They want shalom. They want things to be right. So in like an environment where a lot of energy and maybe even chaos is appropriate, then that's the thing. It was a really powerful statement. So
is shalom a neutral word? And if not, like, what's a word that is neutral that like encompasses that? Like, I know what it means in my heart, right? Like, I'm like, okay, I get what, but I don't really know how to relate
as
that.
they should be. Things as they should be.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll notice the prescription there. Justice as a prescribed posture towards the world.
Yeah.
And if we think about 8, 9, and 1 individually, that A to Z and then therefore version of justice looks different for each of these three types. This
depending on
as it should
their
be.
desire. Direction's going to be huge here because 8s it's going to be very much the stuff out there. For the 1s it's going to be very internally referenced at first. And the 9s are just trying to maintain all the things and have the flow, as it were. I think that's a great plus on the 9 side. You can have very loud, energetic environments, but they're set in the right place, and the 9 finds their position in that world. That's perfect. Heart, what you got?
Okay. So this is the center of genuine connection, empathy, and identity. So some of the places the heart center sort of orbiting is, am I lovable? Do I matter? Who am I? And then we get into the whole, who do I need to be those things? Sort of get our image crafting. So yeah, the center of connection, empathy, and identity in its balanced state. But of course, most of us have some balance there. And so we're lost in the questions more than balance there. What do y'all think?
I'd add, these are great. These are excellent. I'd add impact of identity and sense of significance strongly here. I think when we think feeling center, we immediately throw out, and then we like lump image with like just 3s, right? The same way we lump the word impact with 8s, but like the impact of who we are as a person is funneled in 3 different ways. That's really, really important there. So I like those other words you threw out there,
Jackie?
Say again?
Can you say more? It's good.
No, thanks. About what? Sorry, you saying about what? About the
Do you
impact of our
agree that-
identity?
Yeah. Like just expand on what you were saying. It's funneled in 3 ways.
To put it very reductively, right? We care about the impact of our identity, the sense of our significance in the world. Yes, empathy and genuine connection are part of bonding and all of those different things, and they're wonderful. Those are part of the heart, but our sense of self out in the world is so okay, I'm going to adapt this identity of being helpful or giving or achieving and successful, relatively, or, unique or different, mysterious or something, I'm going to adapt these. I'm trying to measure my impact of identity, my sense of significance somewhere, right? So this is the work. I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's making my tummy hurt.
Too bad. That's what we're doing today.
The other thing here, I just want to add, sorry, Jeff. So this is where our feelings,
Yes. So I want to also say too, like just on the side of like significance, identity, all of this stuff. When people say like things like, shame is kind of like, we have to get away from shame. We just like have to actually work with it and manage it, because when we do, it sounds more like conviction. When you think of conviction and like who you are meant to be, your identity, all of that stuff, that's the messy side of that coin is also what's going on in the heart center. It's not just feelings. And I think we need to understand that to understand the roots of what's going on, especially when we go, oh, sticky feelings don't apply to 3, right? So that's under the hood of what's going on in the heart center.
Yeah, I think related to all that, in this center, emotion becomes something to manage rather than just be a part, just be a part of our human experience. Emotions become part of
There's
the
some type of collateral, right? Like maybe a tool, maybe something to manage, something to do. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't just be. They have to fit somehow. Because they are messy. Mm-hmm. According to all of the humans, I think we all agree emotions are messy and difficult.
Yeah, again, the case biologically, notice as mammals, our connection with other mammals of our species is essential to our survival. We're wired for this. We're wired to bond, and that's what is taking place in this part of our nervous system. Is we have a part of our nervous system that is primarily aware and drawn to bonding with other mammals of our species. That is taken, what ends up happening in our experience is we take in the world through that. Everyone has emotions of this sort, the bonding sort. But some of us, 2s, 3s, and 4s, elevate that element of their nervous system more so. Like the pathways in their brain and nervous system are simply wider and more your energy is directed more into that space. So when talking about shame or the feelings of not wanting to be disconnected, that is the natural underlying feeling that's produced because your nervous system is telling you, I don't want to be separate from the tribe. I don't want to be separate from other mammals who will care for me. And so we don't like shame, but shame is an evolutionary byproduct in our experience because of this. If you didn't feel shame, then you would be isolated. Animals that are isolated are don't spread their seed, don't survive, etc. And so shame ends up being really valuable on that front, just getting us in the right place at the right time. It can be a liability later, but at first it really has a lot of value, and I can keep going. But that would be I think the primary, if you want to ground it in human physiology.
Very well.
Do you think animals experience shame, Jeff, if they...
I've seen my dog get into the trash. She knows she's not supposed to get into the trash. And I recognize the definition of shame is loose and perhaps needs to get nailed down a little bit between shame, guilt, and the sense of valuelessness and the rest. But
we're not talking about the thing that hovers over you and harasses you about our pains and our flaws. We're not talking about that shame as required, right? That is unfortunately what happens when shame will start to speak to the identity of, let's say, all of our hearts, but for this sake, like 2, 3, and 4, about their identity and this, that, and the other thing. But like, it's that same muscle managed differently that also needs to speak to 2s and 3s and 4s about who they are, so they can get their asses back to that person at all. Because it's hard. It's really hard without, like, I need that sense of healthy shame to be like, you have to stop doing that. That's not who you are. So I do, like, that sense I do think exists in humans and animals alike. Yeah. Not so emotional for animals. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
A lot of times you can define words by their negation. The primary for heart types is they want to be seen and accepted relationally. And so whatever the negation of that is in terms of its emotion, that's what the shame is that I'm seeking to elevate. It's like the feeling I am disconnected because of who I am or what I've done at some level. Like I have an anxiety, I have a relational anxiety that's there and is in need of appeasement. Somebody needs to see me. Somebody needs to care about me. And it's comparative in nature. And it's yeah, go ahead.
Jackie. Go ahead.
Somebody seeing me, maybe. My sense of significance, the impact of my identity needs to, for lack of a better word, not to use a scientific word here, but ping. My sense of identity needs to ping.
But is it seen, or is it's like a special? It's like I need to be, it's not just seen, right?
It's all of those things, and it's maybe those things, and it's not those things. It's yes and it's no. It, like that, those things are tools, but 2, 3, and 4 will intuit and interpret very, very differently whether or not our idea of bonding is met. Our sense of identity, like that's yes. I can't finish the sentence because my brain just stopped working. But
no,
yeah.
I just think it's different than being seen. I think for the
we can't. So I like this conversation with 2s and 3s and 4s alike. Like some 4s go, yes, it's seen, and some say, yes, it's witnessed. That's exactly what it is. Some 2s say witnessed but not seen. Some say seen but not witnessed. Some say liked but not wanted but not liked. We can give, we can take, but at the end of the day, I think it's relative to both. First the type, and then starts getting more, to the individual, but how they would define my sense of identity, has some kind of significance and impact.
Well, and we all have this too, and we'll get into this, but like
correct.
What we're saying is we all have these 3 centers. What we obviously just get all wrapped up in one usually, but this isn't just image types, even dealing with these issues. We all have these questions.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And that's because we're mammals, and that's because we have 3 centers, which is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Jeff's a scientist now.
But some of us elevate.
These are different.
Some of us elevate that center more than others.
Right.
And that becomes this is the elevation of the center matters because it defines what your primary motivation is. And your primary motive very likely is coming out of that need to appease the negative experience of your underlying feeling. And so shame is first for 2s, 3s, and 4s. Yeah. That's the thing. Fear is last or later.
Yeah.
Anger is later. The shame is what is needing to get addressed first. So how are you going to do that? You're going to gain attention of the tribe and remind yourself that you're part of, that you are bonded. And that's a very, again, evolutionarily biological way of being in the world. And it comes out in our mind as this is who I am.
Well, and also having the sense of like the experience of like, okay, I did the things to be bonded here would be an out of balance experience, because that's not the same as genuine connection and bonding, which is very different.
Yep. We can create artificial experiences that, yeah.
Jackie, does that you agree?
I'm just reflecting on my own behavior this weekend and like with you guys, and I'm like, yeah, totally. My pride's like, pop. They're talking about you right now, trying to get attention. Anyway, yes, all checks out. Very good.
Was not, but okay.
No. But like, yeah, like I'm like, yes, it works. It is. Yes.
Yeah. Because like I've been with twos, not you, Jackie. I've been with twos that I'm like literally kind of receiving their offerings and seeing them think that like, oh yeah, it's working, and I'm in here like I'm not feeling.
No, but
you know what I mean?
As you guys are talking about like sort of the mechanics, I'm sitting there thinking about like I borderline flirted with my friend group all weekend. I was so excited. I was so happy to be with them. I wanted a big group hug, emphasis. And, you know, all this to say, like, I'm like listening to you guys talk and I'm like, yes, I all of that stuff checks out. So anyway, okay. Confirmed.
That's awesome.
Last little side note there is I think the comparative feelings that 2s, 3s, and 4s can have also emerge here because the understanding where I am in the group or in relationship to the, you know, if you're a sexual dominant subtype, you know, my person, that's going to come in those spaces of understanding how thick the bond is, as it were. It's also going to produce the past focus. Shame is a past focused emotion, and it's assessing where I am in the world. You're comparing yourself with yourself in the past and where bonds were broken in the past. And this will be a dominant, I assume, for 2s, 3s, and 4s. They know where relationships went wrong. And because of that, that influences the way they filter everything else in the present. The world is coming at you. You are experiencing new and different people and people that you've cared about for a long time. And you're comparing your bond with them right now versus what you experienced in the past, especially if people left.
Okay, got it. 5, 6, and 7, please.
Love it. I love this.
So more.
This hits me so hard as well.
Thanks.
By the way,
got
Jackie.
it. Thanks. No one loves Jackie. Got it. Move.
So, but you can, yeah. I do think. Why don't you land the plane, Kristin, with heart types.
Well, I just think it's really important to remember we all are dealing with this, right? So you bring up like comparative, and I'm like, oh, like so much of that going on with 6s. So there's not, this isn't just, we're doing a good job describing this as the types in the center, but these are issues for all of the human.
Right. These are the first things that we want and organize how we get what we want. But we all want all of these things to different degrees.
And we might get to this, right? We might have a better shot of doing our work in our non-dominant centers to maybe build up some capacity to really hit the dominant center issues. That might be the stickiest for us. I'm just making that up.
I like it.
Moving into head, I want to say two quick things. One, actually, if you get into this, especially on the science side, go to aroundthecircle.org, sign up for a membership, and find the reading room material. We are doing hours and hours of deep dives into this and having online discussions. You should sign up. You should get engaged here. This is actually a place that is red hot in terms of what the future of Enneagram is going to look like. And we're one of the few places that's actually doing business with it. Second, and I think this keys in on a lot of stuff that we heard this weekend that I'm not a big fan of. There is an idea that you are your essence separate from any of these 3 centers. Let me pitch it just real quick, real quick. And this is for teasing for a future episode, I'm sure.
Oh, good. Okay.
But it matters in this conversation. You don't have a body. You are your body. And you don't just have a heart. You are your heart. And you don't just have a mind. You are your mind. And if you try to disconnect yourself from all 3 of your centers and become something completely other, I don't know what you are anymore. For me, and that's a metaphysical question, but a lot of people want to talk about how you got this essence completely divorced from these 3 centers. For the sake of this conversation, I would love to invite the fact that that it's not just that your heart produces these emotions. You are your heart, and the emotions that you're experiencing are yours, and they're part of you. And as was said to me 28 times this weekend, you should feel those emotions and find out what they're saying to you, because it is you talking to you at some very important, depthy levels. So I'm getting animated about this for some reason. It's the heavy cream.
No, this is big time for you. And I love that you just thought you could pop it in here. What is happening? But it's a very important discussion, because that part of Enneagram is just it's important to talk about, think about. So yeah.
Confused and misdirected, I believe, is what you wanted to say. Head types.
We don't even agree. That's why I'm like, how dare you? Just like plop this in here without offering
We'll come to it. Essence, the difference between essence and what's the opposite?
The opposite of essence? I don't know.
Your essence and your personality.
Oh.
So.
Right.
We should talk about the emergence of personality and how that works. Yeah. Go ahead.
Apparently, this is the Jeff show. Okay. That's what's happening this morning.
Don't invalidate Jeff. We don't invalidate one another on this show.
I want to have this conversation. Okay,
everybody shake hands and make up right now.
My body center is confused, because I'm like, I desperately want to like whoosh dive in. But Jeff's like, oh no, we're just sprinkling a little of the most interesting part.
Unfortunately, I'm poisoning the well for our future conversations. I'm trying to get people on my side prior, because I'm so insecure about my position, because it's clearly in the minority. So
we are never going to get to secondary center. Let's go. 5, 6, and 7.
Kristin, tell us about the head types, or a head center.
Okay. The mind center in balance is the seat of discernment, clarity, and inner knowing. So when this area supposedly is in balance and regulated or whatever, we can think without being consumed by our thoughts. The mind is in service to the whole person, as opposed to being the whole person. Okay, so when the center is out of balance, it's driven by fear and anxiety. There's just the kind of always ever-present belief that something can go wrong, and that must be thought about. It becomes like an over-processing. Like the mind is not a processing center or like a repository for all of the things that you've ever known. That's when it's out of balance, which I could talk about for days. So it's, over-processing, looping, strategizing, all these things are when the mind center is not in balance.
Often in search of some kind of relative sense of security relative to the individual. If you're leading with a head type, relative security for the 5, the 6, the 7. But
yeah, but it can't be found through more thinking. It's like, well, more thinking can surely accomplish that. That's the out of balance.
I know that I'm putting you on the spot, Kristin. If you can, for those listening, can you describe, for those listening and not me, can you describe the difference between inner knowing and instinctual knowing, right? The difference between...
I actually can't. I know. I looked at it and I was like, meh. I think it's like, I can feel the difference. I know an instinctual knowing versus like a choice that I'm making, like a discerning choice. That I'm making. I don't totally know how it's going to turn out, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. As opposed to like an instinctual hit, it's very different. I literally comes from below.
I agree with that. Just because I think a lot of when I've worked to like clarify type with someone who ends up strongly identifying with type 1, it's like, am I a head type, or am I because they think a lot. Or they think that they think a lot, but it's really like, well, where is that coming from? So, yeah. Anyway, Jeff, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the difference between instinctual knowing and inner knowing.
Instinctual knowing isn't cognitive, and it's not future referenced. Instinctual knowing is about the present, and it doesn't have a deductive dynamic. It is very much, I walk in a room and I feel unsafe, but I don't know why. that would be an example of intuitive knowing.
Or instinctual knowing.
Or instinctual.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
What I take the head center to be, again, as part of your nervous system, it is focused on future threats. This is absolutely essential to survival. One of the reasons that human beings have survived and thrived is their ability to foresee problems in the future. And I assume it's the case that, so much of our brain capacity actually is about playing out what might happen and then responding to those future threats. But it's also, do I have the resources I need to address future threats? And the mind center is primarily 5, 6s, and 7s. That is the thing they need most, is they need resources. That is what security is. So for the 6s, it's relationships. For the 5s, it's oftentimes assets. And for the 7s, it's opportunities. They are solving those future problems by accumulating resources that are going to help them navigate the future threats. So I think strategizing is spot on, as Kristin was saying.
Right. And then, so the out of balance is you don't ever land.
Yeah,
you just
so
keep thinking you need more, as opposed to like, but look at everything you accumulated already.
So out of balance, and this at least for me, is going to be a primary topic in Enneagram. That's the goal, is balance. So the opposite of balance, again, is excess. So 5, 6s, and 7s all can become excessive in their center, and that's what it would look like. You can never think enough about the future and what might go wrong. Right. It is an infinite world to dive into, and so too the heart types, in terms of the infinite complexity of relationships and dynamics and whether or not people care about me. And so too the 8, 9, and 1, in terms of what do we need to oversee and control and improve and all the rest. So infinite landscapes there that you have to say, I have done enough, and this is where I need to pivot into my other centers. And that's the road toward health, is elevating those other centers. So not to pivot off of head types too much, but because that's what we're going to discuss today. I think we all get it.
I think we can pivot.
Yeah, I think that was the most straightforward. The head types were the sort of straightforward ones. Yeah.
Last thing on that, though, it's because we didn't mention it, is this is where fear lives, or anxiety, however we're going to parse the underlying feeling. You don't know what's going to happen, of course. And if primary to you, if the biggest pathway in your brain is about what might happen, the natural experience of a feeling associated with future focus is going to be fear. I don't know what's going to happen. And I have opened those channels in my brain so much that that's what matters to me most. And that produces motive. And that's where your Enneagram type comes in, and it seeks to name your motivation from that space. And that's where 5, 6s, and 7s land. Anyway,
I do kind of want to, okay, hold on though.
Do it.
Like, I get what you're saying. Well, and this is where it gets complicated, I think, because there's like, yeah, okay, so the fear and anxiety live in your head, but they're very much experienced in the body. So,
sure.
Like,
yeah, let's talk about that.
They just are.
Right. A lot of things can be experienced in the body. And like, for example, like if I'm having, as a 2, if I'm having relational anxiety, I can feel it in my body.
You have
I can
thoughts
feel
about it.
My tummy doesn't feel good. I mean, it's going on in my heart and my shame and my, but there are effects or so on. So I think it's safe. The reason we need balance is because everything always touches all of the things all the time. So we need the balance.
Whether we're aware of it or not.
Yes. Yeah.
I think what you're bringing up is really important. And I need to do more work on the location of emotions and how that overlaps. Because you're right, in terms of you're having a physical experience of fear, how does that overlap with your center?
Or like, let's use 7s, for example, right? So they would be having a physical experience of maybe discomfort, but they're so like not doing that.
Yeah.
So I use my thinky center to go elsewhere and produce positive emotion.
To continue pressing on the dominant center. And this is where I was afraid I was going to take this in a different direction. If you don't mind. Like I wanted to hear your thoughts on this because it is relevant and I'm scared we're going to lose it. I have a theory that only works for, or rather, I've only built out for I think what you guys, hexad. So they're the ones that are not
The non-attachment piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
would
I
be
think
ones, twos, fours, fives, eights, sevens is what she's referring to. Go
I
ahead.
think we have a sort of so obviously we have this automatic relationship with our dominant center, and I think we have a sort of lazy or involuntary, or take the emotion out of this when I say take for granted our secondary center in terms of how we need to elect it on purpose, not because it's repressed, but in terms of actually being able to access our repressed center. Like I don't think we can access our repressed center without the secondary. It's too violent a jump. You see what happens when people who repress their body are thrown into having to deal with the fact that something is happening with their body. I don't know, whatever. So like as a 2, I'm in the heart center and my body is second. And I'm not saying like I hate my body or I don't, I take it for granted or whatever, but I don't always elect it on purpose to push into it to open that door for productive thinking, right? And so I think you
have to take your attention off other people.
Yes, and so like for and we can kind of build this out. And I'm mostly interested in how, because I think for the other types it could be obvious, but for 3, 6, and 9 not so much. But like for type 2, for example, to keep on me, so I'm not putting anyone in the corner, like solo travel, or like solo days, or like learning skills or hobbies or things in secret that are not for people. 2s, not ASL. That's beautiful and lovely, and me included. I want to learn it, but it is for other people. So unless it is for you. So, but like learn a skill in secret, right? Like learning certain things in secret, doing where it is not putting emphasis on the heart, how you do things with the heart center, right? Using your secondary center where it does not put emphasis on the dominant center will start to open up, right? So that's sort of the thought I want to, when I'm coaching with people, that is where I start to lead them. And I would love your thoughts on it. Thank you for letting me get there. That took me a long time.
I got lots of thoughts. In fact, I think a lot of our discussion, which we're probably going to pick up next time when we talk about ourselves, because we're going to run out of time, is going to be on these fronts, is just identifying what the primary, secondary, and repressed center look like for a 2 and your relationship with them. What I heard there is you talked about your body is, I associated that with the fact that your body is, you primarily access your body in your stress move, and that's why I heard in your language.
100%. Usually we do, like when I think down the line at all of the hexad, at least, right, where I see this the most evidently, it is how we only mostly use our secondary center as a tool to continue to overemphasize the most dominant center.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, and we need to probably define terms in terms of secondary center and the rest, but that would be a place to go. Secondarily, and this goes back to what Kristin brought up, I think the reason that you feel fear in your body is the awareness of danger is produced in your mind. Your mind kicks that into your physical organism, and your body releases, I'm sure, chemicals that
the brain
prep you.
The chemical.
Yeah. So you're experiencing adrenaline, but it's
right.
and adrenaline can only be experienced in your body, but it is manufactured by the deductive side of your nervous system that is foreseeing looming danger. So it's almost like it's a follow. What do you call that when it follows another process? It's a lagging indicator. Am I wrong?
Well, I think maybe because when we talk about passion, there is a dominant emotion that's always alive for each type. So, which comes first really to me is one of those, where's the relevance? The relevance is, what do I do about it?
Sure.
So I just don't know. Like my fear is always right here, ready. It's ready to go. So if you put me in a situation where maybe there's some kind of stress, I'm air quoting stress, right? What I would determine as stress, the fear is already like ready to go. And then a thought, like they ping together. So to me, it's really not they're mirrors of each other is how I experience it.
That's fair.
Yeah. But it's really more to your point of like, we are our mind, we are our body, we are our heart. So.
Yes. Speaking just about the head center, this would be part of your nervous system, as you were saying. That's like, it's specially designed for clarity, discernment, strategizing. It's future oriented. And the awareness comes into your physicality through that center. So biologically, for 5, 6s, and 7s, those neural pathways are just more open and primary and doing the business. Now that's your nervous system, and all of us have a nervous system with different pathways that are open up more than others.
Right.
I suppose it's the case. This would be my intuition about emotions, is even the heart types and the body types, it's still the nervous system. You haven't actually entered your body yet. It's the nervous system that is kicking out what is most valuable.
How can you separate nervous system and body?
So what Siegel does is he says your nervous system flows through your entire body, your entire physicality. And some people will talk about having 3 brains. I don't know if this is going to be a new concept.
No, I think it's the exact same, actually.
Okay. So there's like,
these are the 3 brains. Yeah.
Yeah. So this apparently can be, this isn't woo woo. This is like, you can look at this nerve goes around your heart and lungs, and is receptive, the heart types, for a different kind of information. And if it's given primacy over other elements, then that you become heart type. And so too the body types, apparently. Again, the reason that they're called gut types is apparently this nerve is lower down and flows into more elements of your physicality, but it's still your nervous system. So it's not your bicep. My bicep doesn't tell me anything.
Sure.
So it would be of that sort. So for the head types, however this ends up working, like the deductive, strategizing, discerning elements of your nervous system have a future orientation.
Using that example though, like, okay, our biceps don't tell us anything, but if we exercise, we get much different information in our whole body. And so like my mind is greatly calmed by exercising. So I don't even know if we can say it's true that our biceps don't tell us anything, to your example. Like, how do we influence all of this? There's so many different ways. And getting into the body.
It's not the bicep. It's not the muscle. It's the nerves in the muscle that are telling you things.
But, well, I know that. But I'm saying, but the fact that we can move the muscles and then get the messages into the nervous system.
Correct. When you dance by yourself, it communicates something intuitively, present focused. You feel a certain way. When you dance with another person intimately, it communicates something different. Different nerves receiving different messages and communicating things to your nervous system. Thinking about dancing with another person tomorrow at prom, that's another part of your nervous system. Those are 3 different parts of your nervous system. We have neural pathways that open up more dominantly depending on our type. Mm-hmm. But, and here's the kicker, if we are balanced and healthy, what ends up happening is this is neuroplasticity, what we can do is we can do the work to open up pathways in our non-dominant centers, and that creates 2 things. One, it creates balance, but second, and vastly more importantly, is it allows you to make free choices. You get freedom when you open up different parts of your nervous system, because then you can say, my heart is telling me things that are unhealthy for me in this moment, and I need to move into my physicality and get a different message. That would be the wise thing to do at this point in time. It would create balance in myself, and I'd moderate my emotions. That's a healthy person.
You get choice.
Yes, you get choice.
You get freedom from the bounds of your personality.
Yes. It is the only fair shot we have, because it is the only way to start accessing what is repressed, right? To go into the secondary space is the only way to really start accessing what is repressed. So I think it's the only fair shot at that restoring that balance, to having that choice, for sure. But I think we have to...
to me is the entire point of Enneagram work is like, am I automatic or
But
am I in some degree of choice in my life
But we
and
need to
can
make
make changes?
we need to make the distinction, right? That, for example, I'll speak for myself as a 2. If I'm trying to really rebalance, feeling, doing, and thinking, or get out of repressed thinking, I'm not going to just I can't just go for walks every day and go, how come I'm still thinking repressed? If I have a gut instinct, I must do. I must not let my feelings take over. I must act on it. That is right there. So we can't just go, oh, like I'm a 9 and I'm to get into why I do all the time. And, I'm, even though I'm doing right, I need to use my feeling productively to access the right emotions like anger to really lead to actual doing, right? So it's not just about journaling to get into feeling. We need to not oversimplify what thinking, feeling, and doing are. We need to be very, very honest about what acting on those things are to balance. Because I think there was something sort of convicting to me or impact, like, I don't know if it just hit me a different way, where I was like, wow, this is like the only really fair shot we have of accessing what is repressed. And then, Jeff talking about like, it's the only thing that really gives us like the ability to choose, to make an active choice, right? To paraphrase what you said.
It brings up a question around, because it's one thing to be able to do all this alone. And then it's another thing to be able to do it in relationship where our dominant stuff just desperately wants to take over. Do you know what I mean? Like in any kind of, So we build muscles.
Wait, I don't.
The gym is always a good analogy.
Can you rephrase that? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Yeah, it's one thing to do work alone, kind of in ourselves, and do all the things. Learn to feel our feelings, get into our body, learn to think on purpose. And then it's another thing to be able to start to access those things when our dominant deal just desperately wants to come in and take over.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
So again, this is the opposite. This, just underline this 12 times. This is what excess in your number is about. Excess in your number is enslavement. We think it's freedom to push the button over and over and over again that gets our motive met, and it's not. You are enslaved to an addiction at that level. And so those who are really adamant about getting rid of your number, I think this is where their intuition is coming in. It's something to the extent of they know they're enslaved to their type and they're trying desperately to get out of it. Now, a lot of times they don't understand that the solution is to balance your centers. This is what we heard. So we went to a conference this weekend. One of the messages was exactly this, was to disengage yourself completely from one of the centers. And that happened to be the gentleman's primary center who is making the message. That seems to me just a super unhealthy way to be in the world, because it doesn't understand how your nervous system works, 1, and 2, I don't think it really taps into what Enneagram wisdom can communicate, which is your healthiest self is when you do those things that move you out of excess. So doing repressed center work, elevating your repressed center is like the most obvious example of that. What you're really doing is you're opening up neural pathways that give you freedom, give you choice, make you more holistic. What you really makes you is more integrated. And that's what integration actually means. All of the parts of myself are integrated and working together in coordination such that I am embodying a healthy person. Integration is not moving to your security number. That is a pathetic goal, and you should set it aside. The goal is health. The goal is becoming self-actualized, understanding how you take in the world and where you have an addiction that needs to be moderated. That is the road to health. I'm opinionated today.
This is the Enneagram according to Jeff today. I just want to be clear that Jeff does not speak for all members of the morning show.
Well, let me push back on that. What's worth critiquing there?
What is to be critiqued there is the individuality of it. There's an individual. There's a way that I, the one person, can just do all that and then be this balanced version of myself in the world. It's a very, I don't know. it lacks community. It lacks.
It's very one size fits all.
I'm gonna have to think about it more. I didn't know you were
Are
gonna
you saying-
drop all that. I was gonna have to defend
It's very
against
type one size fits all.
That's what it is.
It isn't that. It's very American. It's very elevate the individual. It's very we
Okay.
can all just do whatever we most want.
Are you
And
sure? Oh, well,
yeah, it is. And it's got a very like everyone just needs to do their work and we can all be these like blah blah people and creatures. And I'm like, that's
Where's TJ? Where's TJ? I need to smile at someone. Where's TJ?
listen, I am a life coach, okay? If I did not share a good bit of that, I would not have the job I have. But working with individuals over the course of years and getting into different kinds of spiritual work has just really, really informed my view of everything that we're saying here. So it's fine. It's just a view of how people can be in the world. You know, I literally think of like, Jeff, you do this, so I'm going to give myself permission to do this. Use an extreme example, right? Like the people in Iran right now, they're supposed to just like whoosh, do all their work and be these great individualized folks and like live into what I don't have any idea what they're supposed to do. You know, would they benefit from the Enneagram or would they benefit from not living in hell? So there's something in the like, we can that just really part of me, I mean, I'm a 6, so I can do both sides, right? Part of me is like, yeah. And part of me is like, absolutely not. We need to learn how to take care of each other. Like a lot of our work can be done taking care of other people, not this just like, I need to have all of my time and space and resources to do everything myself.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
I know you don't. That's why when you get all going, I just got to be
friends.
like, hold on.
So
Grab the balloon.
let me clarify one thing that I think is maybe an unseen. Health, happiness, thriving, flourishing can be experienced, in my view, by somebody who is desperately suffering. And that's because it's not about the circumstances out there. It's about who you are. Socrates wants to argue that no bad can happen to a good person. And
Listen,
there's
I used to
something
coach on that shit all the time, okay? I get it.
deeply pings for me. So, and that's hard. But all the Enneagram is doing is naming your motive, and it's naming how, you know, it's giving very simple language for these very complicated things going on, both inside your internal nervous system and how you as a physical being relate to the human beings that you're with or in isolation. I suppose some people are desperately alone. It's still naming some of the things that are going on. Just a tool. It's just a tool.
Yep.
What'd you say, Jackie?
Kristin, tell your dog I said hi.
God. That's fair.
No, I just want all my friends to get along all the time. So that's all.
This is us caring about each other.
It truly.
I
and
know.
also
I'm just waiting for TJ to come back.
just highlighting, you know, individual work is just really an interesting thing to do. And we all do it. It's just part of it. I do not believe healthy societies are made by individuals who can and have the resources to do all the things. That's not what makes healthy societies.
Healthy societies can be made up of individuals who do individual work, and then that, you know, empowers them to come alongside people who are doing, you know, communal work or relational work. And I think of how we need all three instincts. We need all kinds of people, and, you know, maybe Jeff's prescription's really great and well and excellent for ones or people named Jeff, right? But it works alongside a very large picture. It's just not the prescription for everybody, because if not, we'd fall apart.
I also just want to say this has been a journey for me. Like 5 years ago, I would have been there just like, you know, cheering Jeff on. And I do cheer you on, Jeff. This is not, you know, you're not offended.
You should push back.
Well, because there's just such a, to me, it's like, if I really am going to go there, right? This is like the patriarchy view of things versus like a real depthy.
What is patriarchy? I've never heard of this.
You serious?
It's a joke.
There's this up and this out and this like, let's all just be our that solves it's like, okay. And there is a way that you can view society and community differently that's really down in the muck of life. And it's a very much more, it elevates people who have needs, right? It elevates like children, and it elevates marginalized people. And it just builds from a different place. And it builds from like saying there is pain. There is a lot that we can't just fix our way out of. And instead of me needing to work harder, and again, I'm literally kind of cringing as I'm saying this because it's very new to me.
You're promoting justice. This is my wheelhouse. Go for it.
Yes.
I'll support you all day long.
It's just, I don't know. And I honestly, it's like maybe I've done enough of my individual work to actually confront these realities, because I would really just love to do all my own work, honestly, and like feel great unto myself. And that is easier for me than really having to confront being a community person, a villager, whatever the frick,
Yeah.
a mom. So that's all.
You got thoughts, Jackie?
No, I don't actually. This is nice.
Two things from me. One, because this has not only come up just in our podcast, but has been commented on extensively on our Patreon. I, unfortunately, get really into debate. I have a graduate degree in this. I had a job as a philosophy professor for a long time. Unfortunately, it's a gear that I shift into. All the listeners need to know is I don't surround myself with fools. I surround myself with people who are smarter than me, who press me, who push me, who make me a better thinker. And that's why these women are on this podcast. It has nothing, like, I'm not trying to set things up such that I can just rant. I want pushback on my thinking by people who are wise, informed, and bring good things into the world. So that would be one.
I also really like debate. It does not bother me when it comes up. I have a lot of defenders, and I like adore this thing that's happening, and I feel very good about what happens in these spaces. So
Bing.
We can debate if we can kiss after.
There are some like, I think Jackie's actually representing some of our audience. And so, dear listener, who I love and adore, and I'm so thankful that you listen to us. Sometimes having spirited arguments about things that matter can come across uncomfortable.
totally.
Some of us just thrive in that space. And I'm not sure what to do about that in terms of how we're coming to things. I suppose there's lots of Enneagram podcasts where this isn't the dynamic. Mm-hmm. So please get your Enneagram stuff from other people who are doing great work. This is what we're doing here.
We also all love each other in secret, despite what it sounds like. When
Well, and here's something too. I want people to hear me say, and this is just true. No one in my life talks me up like Jeff Cook. Like, I've been just lavished with so many just wonderful things about me. And so I just want that to be really clear. Like, in no way do I feel dismissed or talked over or overlooked. It's 100% the opposite. And I wouldn't be here otherwise.
Yeah.
It's the new strategy of the patriarchy to maintain control.
It's a good one. Toss it around. Share it.
The second
Do a course on that.
I fully affirm what you're saying in terms of individual work can't be the only thing. In my favorite C.S. Lewis book, he has a chapter called 3-Part Morality, and he talks about how truly flourishing human beings require 3 things. And he pictures humanity as a fleet of ships. And he says in order for the fleet of ships to get to their destination, which that place is happiness, we need 3 things. We need each of the ships to actually do internal work. If the captain isn't aware of the failings of the ship, integrity is a naval term for whether or not water's getting in your boat. Does your ship have integrity? If the systems that propel the boat aren't in order, if the steering mechanism isn't sound, then the ship itself won't be able to control itself. And what will happen is that ship will run into other ships. Not that this ever happens in our world, where somebody who's deeply unhealthy runs into other people and causes problems, but imagine it did. That would be one part to us getting to the world we call happiness. We need to take care of our own internal gears and mechanisms. The second is how the ships relate to each other. You need to respect other people's spaces. You need to understand where they are in the water. And you, thirdly, need to have a common destination. And if we're all aiming towards the world we call happiness together, then we're going to actually have a fantastic, thriving society. There's a better way to do this. Part of it is individual work, part of it is the person next to me, and part of it is we need to realize that we should all be aiming at the same land ahead, and that's part of the glorious human story if we can get there.
Part of individual work is often seeing your context and letting yourself off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
Part of individual work is saying, oh, okay, of course I just XYZ in my personality way. Of course I just did that because I was really under stress. And it makes sense that I was under stress because blah, 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 blah. And when we get out of the inner warring that occurs, we're able to enter some of these other spaces with just more choice. So I think even more than inner work, I'm looking for a new word because it is work. But it's like a twisting of it. I mean, I really teach sixes to develop an internal relationship with themselves that can support them as they navigate life with other people. So that means not beating the shit out of themselves and not looking at their personality parts and saying, oh, that's so terrible. Why am I like that? Why do I do that? Like, that's the gear that's available. I need to change. I need to be different. That's just more personality. That's just like the straitjacket of your personality getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So how do we stop warring with ourselves truly? Then we have a little more freedom, I think, to stop warring with each other. So when we think about work, it isn't getting better and more buttoned up. It's grace and tenderness and understanding and not letting ourselves off the hook. I don't mean that. Like, we don't hold ourselves to any standards, but we hold ourselves to standards that matter and are important, not just our personality wearing a different hat.
Lots of thoughts. But Jackie, you got thoughts on this one, I bet.
No, I don't actually. God.
One of the things that's going to make the three of us different is the direction of our energy. Mine is very internal. Jackie's is going to be very external. And
I got both.
And Kristen's going in both directions. The both directions is essential for Jackie and I to develop. And the work that I need to do is more posturing myself towards everyone else. And the work that Jackie needs to do is posturing more of her heart, and love others the way you love yourself requires you to love yourself. And so getting that shored up is for those who have external focus really matters. Yeah. And that's what I hear there. It's a both and.
We need to, it's funny because I think when we talk about needing to focus at the opposite direction, we need to learn how to actually balance both. Because you choose to focus on themselves, guess what? They will. And then guess what? They don't know how to do both. They don't know how to focus on the inside and the outside, or do it at the same time, right? And so I think that can be how to balance I guess to put it reductively, like looking outward and also looking inward at the same time, looking inward to look outward, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
This is a good place to land the plane and pick up next time, because in my view, you can't do both at the same time sometimes. And it might not actually be the healthiest way to go. Sometimes, for example, like when you're developing a muscle, go ahead.
Can I clarify, doing one without losing access or ability, momentum to doing the other?
Yeah.
Because that's like, it's sort of, it's almost like this automatic atrophy. Like, you know how they say consistency is not doing it the same exact all the time, but like doing it daily, or, you know, there's sort of this like all in nature and focusing on others, or all in nature and focusing on self, and no ability to have some kind of consistent balance. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does,
Okay.
especially since you're a 2. That is talking about
that.
you and your center and you and your security number.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's just that is how you're doing the business of development. It seems to me, and this will be my last word, and I would love to hear your guys' final thoughts. I just love this material about your nervous system because Enneagram is just a language. Mm-hmm. It's just a language describing something that's physical and spiritual and mystical in nature, but it's just trying to make it usable. That's all Enneagram is. And so sometimes it can come across as stereotypical and overly simplistic. That is actually a virtue of the language, is that it's a little too simplistic at times. But when you do like muscle work, sometimes you have to really focus on a specific muscle, put all the energy into that muscle in order to see that muscle developed. If you try and build all your muscles at the same time, what actually happens is only some muscles get developed. There's a variety of ways that we need to grow, and spiritual practice for me, and this is what I imagine we'll talk about next time, can really be about localizing, focusing, and saying, what does it look like for me to get in touch with my heart right now? What does it look like for me to get in touch with my body right now? What does it look like for me to really do my best thinking right now? What ends up happening is, again, the neural pathways in your brain begin to open up in those specific locations. And that is an exercise that has huge dividends down the road. It's not just about, I need prayer time. It's that by doing that prayer time, as it were, it opens up everything else. And that matters. Okay, that's my last thought.
You're a great pilot.
I appreciate it. I'm hyped up on coffee and really opinionated today, apparently.
So in the next morning show, when we talk about how do I get in touch with my blank center, are we talking about secondary? Are we talking about repressed? Are we talking about?
We're talking about all 3.
All of them.
Excellent.
All of them.
Awesome. Perfect.
We'll even start. Jackie, I'm going to put you on the spot. Next time you're up, we're talking about Jackie and her body, and then Jackie and her heart, and then Jackie and her mind.
If any of y'all talk about my body, I'll slice ya.
By we, I mean you are going to talk about your relationship with your heart, mind, and body. And we'll take them in turn.
Okay.
And then we'll go around.
If anyone
the
talks
circle
about my
with
body,
the
we can do a
rest.
group hug. Sorry.
Fair.
That's good.
Last words, Kristin?
I'm good.
You got anything else, Jackie? Did I land the plane for us all?
I said you're a great pilot. I didn't clap because no one claps on planes, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Hey. Good morning, ladies. Have a great week.
Good morning.
Good morning.